time back with the Shadow Demon, though. In fact, it's Vici Gaming playing it up.
Yeah. And, clearly they're saying, look, anything you can do, I can do better, I suppose, wanting some kind of save against the LC super early on. Of course, you're going to be able to at least glimpse away the LC, so you're forced to run a bit, but, the safer way to go about it is just to have that disruption. A puck is a nice way, though, to get it onto the back lines and take out these squishier supports that don't really like to go things like the Glimmer Cape super early on, especially the way that, you want to play the position for Shadow Demon a lot of the time.
Do you feel like Lion is not as strong anymore? Because I really think that one armor nerf is not enough for him to still not be getting played as much.
Yeah, I don't think it's anywhere near as dire as a lot of these things might suggest, but I mean, the Shadow Shaman's good. They were lacking a little bit of tower push, right? Like, Puck doesn't really want to be doing it. You mentioned before the removal of the 25 attack damage talent. LC kind of wants to be going for ganks, doesn't want to be standing and just hitting towers, except when there's a siege creep nearby. So, just wanting to shore up a bit more of their tower taking potential in the super early game.
Razor.
Okay. Nothing really standing out like a solid Razor game, not against any, beefy, immobile offlaners or very high emphasis on win conditions like the Deucer that the Razor can kind of disable with the stolen damage. So why do we feel like Vici have picked up the Razor here in the 18th?
5 seconds remaining.
I mean, honestly, they might just be experimenting, right? They're a TI team. They just want to try and get everything out of the way and just tick things off. They're probably looking for things that a lot of us haven't even thought about. So for that reason and that reason only, I really want to see a Core Undying come out at some point during the I League. I think he's really strong. If I'm being perfectly honest, like in 7.29, and it's actually not even on the tooltips. The decay does double damage to creeps, and now with the level 10 talent that gives plus 50 damage to it, you can clear range creeps immediately at level 10. And the shard is really strong as well, reducing the cooldown on Flesh Golem by 30 seconds. You can go into remaining. Honestly, even position 1 Undying works in my mind, as long as the enemy team doesn't have anything remaining. That does like a ton of minus armor to you, because that's probably what you don't want to be itemizing into. So I'm keen to see it come out. Will it be this game? Probably not, considering it's against the Razor, but crazier things have happened.
Think we're looking for a Monet hero in Aster and
Vici
a old 11
Gaming's
hero
turn
for
to
Vici
ban.
Gaming. What's standing out for Monet at the moment? More things taken care of? Anything else that you want to see banned?
Well, the Monkey King was banned as well, right? So not going to be playing that. They actually ended up banning that themselves. And of course the Spectre. Whenever I think of Monet, I just think of insane farming patterns. So I guess something that's going to be able to
5 seconds
not worry too much about the Razor. Something that has some good maneuverability skills. It's not a bad anti-mage game, to be honest.
It's not. You've got decent ways to enable him, and they ban it. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'm trying to.
A lot of their damage is magical, at least super early on, right? So by the time leader would have been strong enough, the anti-mage is going to be very strong. So yeah, the PA, I was thinking something that A, can farm, take advantage of what Monet's great at, B, has some kind of way to jump on the backlines. PA's got that, the blur into just immediately deleting the likes of a Disruptor or a Shadow Demon, and C is able to get away from the Razor. So I think probably PA or Anti-Mage were always the thought.
Remaining.
Ricky kind of came into my mind a little bit, but I just don't think he does enough damage for what you're looking for. Good Sand King pick, though. You don't want to be laning into this as a PA. Any ranged hero, any melee hero doesn't want to be laning into a Sand King with that Caustic Finale.
Well, we saw Team Aster have an incredible Game 1 performance. Do we feel like their lineup can replicate the success that they had?
Again, I don't feel like it was the lineup that caused them issues. It was how they executed it. So maybe that's what we could talk about a little more, because these drafts seem fairly even. They're both like... I can't fault the reason for picking the PA, but it was a great Sand King last pick, and it just highlights the importance of having that second pick overall again, right? Where you can just answer every single solution that the enemy team tries to come up with. So I feel like mid lane should go pretty well here for Ori. I feel like Disruptor's been buffed quite heavily with the change to that Thunderstrike. I feel like the Razor is just going to try and get in on top of the LC and cause him to have a bad time. If PA blinks into a bad spot, even her could get static linked up and not have an amazing time. So based on the draft, I say Vici, but based on the fact that they were not great at executing in game one and that Team Aster are playing in China, I'm just going to say Aster.
Yeah, Aster did look like they were on another level in game one. You know, we'll see the difference that's going to show out here in the next couple of minutes as we get ourselves underway. Again, my eyes though, you know, Monet had an incredible time farming up on the Monkey King in game one. I'm intrigued to see if it's going to be a similar case here in our second game as well, just because I am a big fan of a PA Lich combo. I think you really want to... Lich is kind of similar to Grimstroke, where I think you really want to put emphasis on having like someone who can get aggressive with the blink innately in the toolkit. And I think the Phantom Strike is a perfect addition and way to combine up with that Frost Shield. And I mean, against the... Well, he's going to be laning into the Shadow
Sand
Demon
King.
4 and the Sand King. So yeah,
Prepare for battle.
the Sand King's going to cause him issues. But Sand King's early levels are still pretty weak. So maybe if Aster get the level 2 first, they could turn that on its head. And even Shadow Demon as well kind of needs level 3. I say that. Shadow Demons did early levels get buffed though. Like with the change to the poison, we always saw like level 1 poison was sometimes just not enough to get the kill. Maybe that 4 extra stacking damage could be enough. You know, also it's only got buffed up by 1 at the second level.
They're going to run into each other, though.
No. So you've been playing a decent amount of the Lich support so far. The Frostblast is still one of the highest level... Oh, Borax. He's got the early boots and actually closes the distance on Poyoyo, and this time it looks like First Blood will be picked up for White Alban instead of Ori in our previous game.
Yeah, what was that about?
I was going to
Nukes
say,
at
like,
level 1?
Frostblast is one of the highest level 1 nukes, right?
Yep.
That's
Like Ether Shock is one of the others. I think it's 140 damage. Are you talking about for harassing heroes or about securing range creeps?
mainly heroes, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's not too much that's better than
The
Lich right
battle
now in terms
begins.
of just being amazing against heroes. You hit the nail on the head, honestly. With Sand King, his biggest weakness is super early on. You can see the Lich. He's got 2 Sentry Wards picked up. You can heavily punish an SK if he skills incorrectly. So it kind of feels like you have to go into something like the stun just so that you can get away from a few of these gank attempts. But hell, even then, you're going to have an issue with the Burrow Strike being such low range. Monet, he wants to make sure that this wave is as close to underneath the tower as possible. Some good blocking going on there. I wonder, yeah, they do level up the Burrow Strike and put some harass on. That's exactly what Vici needs to be doing. And what Aster needs to be focusing on is making sure they're hitting their level 2 before Vici does. They already have the advantage because of that First Blood, but they need to continue it.
Do you feel like they've put DY into this lane just for that harassment, like you were saying, because the Thunderstrike against the PA is going to be nice, and also it feels like Legion, maybe a partial reason why they picked it is because you have a purge in the lane to get rid of the Thunderstrike.
It would have been nice, but I think it's just the super early game for mine. It is the big impact for their DY. He's kind of getting gone a little bit, but again, they're not level 2. There's no kill threat just yet.
See, once they get those 2s, how aggressive they get. Monet, oh, they didn't get enough. You saw they were starting to inch closer and closer by that range creep starting to fall. But level 2, honestly, DY is dead there with Frost Shield and also Phantom Strike. But not the case. They're going to have to wait an extra creep. And
well, even now, like, Lich went quite heavily into the sustain, but nothing into mana items. So Old 11, I mean, this is all they're going to need, but Lanham should die first.
the level 2s, is it enough? Lennon will fall. Yeah, like you were saying, it didn't really have the mana sustain for the lane. He's gone just for the overall health sustain, and it lane White Alban falling really low. Maybe they baited Ori into a bizarre position with Borax just swinging on forward, the flyby.
Just waddling on through, you know? They're going to be able to secure both of the water runes, which is going to be very nice. Hadn't picked up the bottle just yet, though, on Ori, so he's got the full sips. But yeah, I feel like it's nice, in my opinion, to want to, you know, support your core and make sure that he's got plenty of regen so that he's not dying. But I feel like you can buy that with the gold that you get from getting these early kills. So
Borax just sneaking on the back there. Shackles, PYW, unfortunately, not fast enough with the rotations. It will at least get some retaliation in the kill of the Shadow Demon, but this is another kill given over to the Puck.
Forces the rotation out. I wonder if they're going to try and make any kind of action happen onto XXS, who use the overwhelming odds. He's going to try and take out a courier, but with that static link used, well, it's still going to be enough. Takes him 3 hits, though.
Lenham? Actually, man fighting here with the Frost Shield and Stick Charges. Needs to keep his distance away from the Burrow Strike that's got 2 levels at the moment. Again, we see trades and kills across the lanes.
I really like the fact that Old 11 went for the 2 points into the Burrow Strike.
Oh, mid lane,
yes.
wide open. Oh, Dragon Slavens up, face shift. Okay. Woo. Oh, this mid lane's crazy.
Just doing these tons of these little plays, you know, dodging out that, making sure this salve kept going. He's dodged out 3 different abilities now on White Album and a right click, just to make sure that he would keep his regen going. Top lane again, they're going in onto Monet, and well,
He jumped in? Monet?
It's ballsy, that's for sure.
Centaur
The regen
Conqueror?
for it though.
Is it gonna stun? Okay. Only 2 units. Boraxo stacking up the Shadow Poison. We're up to 3 now, and this is level 2, so it's going to do an immense amount of damage. Can he get the 5th charge? Probably the required amount to secure the kill. Oh, wide up. Did he get the 5th? No, they ended up expiring.
He had 4 at the end, so not quite enough. Mid lane, again, more action happening as he takes away the water rune. Is it going to be enough to kill?
White Album. Oh, face shift still gets the kill. What a cute play, White Album. He stole the water rune top, then TP back to the lane, hold that thought. Borax shackles on PYW. Team Aster are just outplaying around the mid territory here. Borax and White Album currently doing it all. They'll have another round of the orb up in a couple of seconds. PYW speedy, but at least White Album can close the distance to the right click and the waning rift. What a start to your Puck's lane.
Yeah, amazing. And, you know, Borax is just in the region anyway to get some stacks going as well. You know, you're a PA, topside Lanham. He's in a little bit more trouble eventually at level 4. Old 11 gets the point in the Sandstorm, but, you know, like we saw, I mentioned that he had the 2 sentry wards built up to start the game. So if they're going to use 100 net worth to do something, then just get something that completely nullifies it. You know, you don't need to get the Sandstorm.
He's got no creeps of Phantom Strike too. I mean, he's already used it, so he himself is also in a tricky position. With Lenham showing back up. This is a hefty dive from Vici, but he won't be able to secure a kill. And, I mean, a lane that we haven't paid any attention to at all with the constant aggression in the side lanes might result in XXS getting solo killed by PYW. Again, needing the 5th stack to find the kill. Can he find it on the last little attempt here? PYW is going to continue chasing. Oh, too late. XXS should be okay. Maybe? Maybe not, actually. Okay. Spoken too soon. And meanwhile, Disruptor's also falling top.
Land him a little bit of a grief there. He probably could have given that last hit over to Monet, considering how rough, relatively rough, the lane has gone for him. But, you know, happy to secure the kill. At least take some of the pressure off for now.
Even though, I mean, Aster have 6 kills, actually. Hold that thought, because Dire rotating top. Old 11's underneath an Observer Ward. I like that they're looking to try and put a little bit of pressure on the Sand King, considering his incredible start, which is going to result in a very early blink, but unfortunately, with the creepy equilibrium, they weren't able to get successful mid lane. Ori, Laguna Blade dropped, and that's a big kill to find. 344 gold accumulated here for Ori's Lina. Back up to top though, Old 11. He's got the Burrow Strike to maybe get a little bit of distance away. He's actually going to go in aggressively. Ori doesn't cancel the shackles, wants to kill on Monet instead. But the Frost Shield damage mitigation to the physical right clicks results in the Phantom Assassin getting back to safety. They'll still look for Borax with the double rotations from the supports from Vici Gaming. At least we'll find the Shaman. But lane 2.
This is night and day. compared
Razor?
to game number 1.
Dropping the coil, XXS unfortunately without the jewel. They're going to try and stand that ground. The Either Storm burning out the armor, but Poyoyo doesn't have enough left in the tank to kill off the puck.
Old 11's coming. He's in the region, but only 2 points to Boris Strike. Oh, there
He
goes for
gets
it.
it so greedy. Old 11. It looks like you had the awareness there of that. Someone potentially was going to TP in to refill the bottle. I'm not sure how, but the neck god finding a big kill on the puck.
Only someone with a neck like his could make a play like that.
Without a doubt, it has to accumulate to all the brain power. Another kill for Lena. This is such a different game we've got. I mean, it's Vici Gaming coming out ahead at the moment. 2,000 net worth lead. Poyoyo finally switching up bot. It's just, I mean, game 1, it was kind of a bit more of a farm fest. We've already got 18 kills, 8 minutes in. While we have a chance, give me some insight into this bottom lane. How do you feel like I know we haven't seen it too much, but how do you feel like it's going to impact the early game with Razor being top of the net worth and Legion, you know, about 1,200 gold behind?
Well, I want to see, more so than net worth, I want to look at the levels. Because if he gets to level 10 and he goes that dual damage, then you've got a good amount of damage potential. Old 11, he's getting dived under the tower, but rotations are coming.
Static Storm drop, the Banishment as well, paired up here to keep Old 11 alive. Now, do they have any detection out of the tower? Because they'll look to turn. But the Boris Strike out, Old 11 still will fall, but Monet is the price to pay. So too Lenham. A greedy attempt from Team Aster gets penalized from Vici Gaming supports once again.
I don't think that's a bad play for Aster to make, but you had a puck with TP available and Dream Coil online that wasn't at that fight. Like, he was shoving in lanes, he was taking a few, you know, things around the mid tower, but I think you're much more needed there, and it was a, what, did they even get a kill?
Radiant's courier has been killed.
They got the kill on Sanky, okay, but it was a 1 for 4.
I don't know what I just watched mid lane. It was, Lena was, wait, what did I just watch actually? Someone's courier was trying to snipe a neutral item. Like, did they get, okay, so they got Radiant's Tumbler's Toya. I think, did they? I'm so confused. I don't know what I just saw.
Flying around in the area. Maybe it was Puck that got it.
Did he drop it in Fountain? Yeah, okay, it's in Fountain. Yeah, okay. So that was Lena's courier trying to find it. I was looking at their neutral items. I'm like, hang on, there's no neutral item there. And White Album wasn't holding it, but I didn't check base. And yeah, okay, so the Tumbler's Toy is in Fountain. One of the new tier 1 neutral items. You have been a fan of this since some of your games through 7.3?
See, for me, I feel like Dota's always so complicated already. So any extra little thing that I need to remember is not necessarily bad, but you know, when it's new to the game, people are going to forget to use it. So right now, for a lot of people, it's just 200 mana. The little 4-staff bonus is not used enough in my eyes. Yeah, and then sometimes we see this random jump on forward with the, you know, pogo stick, and it's just so, it's such an interesting mechanic as we see Vici Gaming taking down their first tier 1 tower of the game. A build I want to highlight is actually White Album. He is going to the Witchblade. So I was saying last game that I wasn't really sure if you're going to see Puck still going for this itemization, considering the I guess removing the damage talent. But yeah, it looks like White Album still looking to commit for the build. I mean, it does still enable you to go for these pick-off potentials. No, it's not only that, right? It's also the fact that now it's only the 0.75 per intelligence that you get as a bonus dot, which is a little bit annoying. Mid tower is in a little bit of trouble here, as White Album is spending a lot of time in the jungle. To his credit, he's taking away a lot of the farm that Vici Gaming have tried to build up for themselves, but I don't think it's worth it if you're losing such an important tower like mid when you've got a PA on your team. Yeah, how is Monet been farming at the moment? Yeah, a 5th in net worth. Yeah, definitely not looking too hot on the graph. I mean, does have enough money for the second component of the Battle Fury, so they're looking to try and snipe down Monet. It's Radiant dancing down to the bottom side. Monet's got to clear this camp fast and get out of dodge, but unfortunately, he will not be fast enough. They'll reveal the blink. Old 11 straight on in, dropping the Static Storm as well for good measure. Great kill for Vici, just continuing to slow down the Battle Fury timing. Why not, right? Just secure it. It's well worth it for DY to drop that. Static Storm still relatively short cooldown.
Arms for the dead.
Or if he's even gonna, maybe positioning himself, kind of like how Old 11 did around where the TPs might come, or if it's just going to be Monet walking somewhere and trying to farm, in a relatively safer area. You've got a little bit of a stack built up to the left of his tier 2 tower, because that glimpse is still available, right? He's put a few more points into it. Its impact when you've got an early advantage like this, especially with a Razor, is amazing. I'm keen to see how effective this Thunderstrike is once you get it to 4 levels, though. Like, 0.4 seconds of 100% attack and movement speed slow 4 times is nuts to me. And then you can even like talent into it at 20 to get 3 more hits. So that's what, come on, quick maths. 7 times 0.4 is 2.8 seconds of you not moving for like one click with a really long range.
I didn't even recognize they changed this. I was just thinking about the Aghanim shard. DY?
Oh no.
In an awkward position here. Looks like he was on a warding expedition and it's going to be penalized for that.
But they know they have the vision. Well worth it. And he already used his Static Storm, so it's fine.
See, you were highlighting the glimpse on how Radiant can utilize this. I mean, they've got great ways to scout out for that vision just to get the drag back. The Plasma Field, the Shadow Poison, the blink to start, maybe even to follow up, and then also their lanes are naturally going to be in a really good position just because of the boots of travel pickup from Lina. So this can really enable Vici to get 1 kill into a secondary pickoff as well. And we're going to look to see any Disruptor lineup really wants to be the aggressor. Like, Glimpse is not the great. You can use it defensively, but it doesn't feel like that's where it's strongly suited.
No, and I mean, these deaths that have happened to Monet in the early game, he knows that he's performing well below what he might expect. And you can just see how Borax and Lanham are positioning themselves. They're wanting to stand right beside him to make sure that there is at least some kind of protection if he does get dived. But, the TP up top side from Borax, they're going to try and go for a kill here onto Ori, but he TP's out, and it's actually going to be Lich that dies in his suit.
They might find PYW at least top, but help him. Shouldn't have to drop the coil. XXS with this bonus movement speed will be able to pick up his first duel victory of the game. Do you want to call it a bit of a misstep there from Lich? I mean, he showed in the lane, which resulted in Ori then looking to join for a potential team fight with the Boots of Travel bot, which then costs him getting that kill on the Lina instead of the Shadow Demon. I'm not sure if he was going, this is no good if they take this stack. That's your objective. That's your big way for PA to keep up in farm, and that's completely gone now.
Well, this game has gone from bad to worse for Aster, as, Monet, I'm sure he's going to rock up there in about 2 minutes' time. Well, actually, Lich has scouted it out himself. He's like, oh, crap, we probably shouldn't have let that happen, as Monet's still a full item away from building into that Battle Fury. And here's an item that I really think might have a resurgence on some heroes, but hell no on this Lich one. The Falcon Blade coming through.
Whoa.
I'm not feeling it at all for a Lich. I mean, the blades of attack just seem like, I don't want to say useless, but it's useless.
Interesting.
The Razor, I can feel it, You get a little bit of that mana regen. It's a good early game fighting item. You're tanky. You got some decent damage. It's affordable. Not the Lich. It's a Lanham special for sure to go for an item like this, but no, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm pretty big fan of the Falcon Blade. I think it's just kind of will fulfill the role of what the Ring of Aquila used to. This like 800 gold-esque. I know it's a little bit more than that, the Falcon Blade, but are they trying to smoke up?
You got the dual range as well.
Radiant have an incredible position. Static Storm instantly drop along with the BKB reveal from Poyo. Now they can just zap away the Legion's health and look to deal with a secondary target. But Wybulbum has already cut them away. He's dragging the create wave. He might still fall. Runs back into the LSA. Old 11 instantly answers with the chain lockdown as well. Now, what beautiful positioning from Vici to pop the smoke on the higher ground. An instant Static Storm on 2.
Didn't have any vision of that, did they? I don't think they did. So,
Borax?
actually, maybe they did. Got this one
Oh,
near
nice
the
hits.
Who turned
diamond.
up the heat?
He's got TP. Oh! Yo, that's cool. Okay, cute play. You were saying before that some people aren't fully utilizing the item to the potential that it can be, and well, my man Borax is already comfortable with it.
Mm-hmm. Just pogoing his way out of there.
All right,
Going for Roche. Why not?
Roshan has fallen
the
to the Radiant.
Lena that has
It's
a
a two-man
DD.
rush.
Radiant's middle tower
Bonkers,
is under
yeah.
attack.
Such a crazy hero. How much was Lena affected in her patch? Let me take a look.
I think they nerfed her Fiery Soul a little bit, but not much outside of that.
Yeah, the Fiery Soul was reduced, but for some reason she got a base attack damage increase, which doesn't make much sense to me.
Is under attack.
Didn't
She
think-
wasn't a strong enough laner, you know?
Yeah, oh yeah, without a doubt. Shadow Demon? They're even dropping the Static Storm just to overlap the potential escape of PYW. You see the slow from this Thunderstrike along with the Purge. White Album's really got to be careful with his positioning. Sword 11's hunting. Again, catching up Borax, but the instant hard dispel from XXS. It's not going to allow the Shadow Shaman to get to safety.
Speaking of the patch, do you feel like Dawnbreaker should have been added?
I
kind of do.
I do as well. I really do. Is this like... I was going to say, like, I feel like it's usually that big patch we see it introduced, and then it's a patch where, you know, it's 2-3 months, whatever, how long that we don't see it in Captain's Mode, and the next big patch after it's introduced, then we see it in Captain's Mode. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's been plenty of time to, you know, play test and do all that stuff. Monet, he's finally built up into his Battle Fury. He's taken a double ancient stack here, which is going to be nice. Look to accelerate his farm a little bit with the Mithril Hammer picked up as well. He realizes how this game's kind of getting out of hand. You know, they've already taken Roche. They've had a very good start, particularly on this Razor, so he's going straight into that BKB, not even worrying about getting a Desolator.
have you seen this Disruptor Aghanim shot in action?
Yeah, it's not that amazing, if I'm being honest.
Monet? Smoke pops. Nice positioning from Lenham. But they've got the vision to glimpse him back, and oh, he was looking for the rest of the components for the BKB. But Monet, unfortunately, won't be able to escape. He's going to try and bring down DY with his own life, but on the backline, Poyoyo and Old 11 can even clean off Lenham as well. He's just getting no breathing room this game on the Phantom Assassin with 4
Radiant's top
deaths.
tower is under attack.
It's not quite GG territory, but it never is, right? With a PA, you always feel like you've
Dire's
got the
middle
potential
tower is
for
under
these
attack.
chain crits back to back.
Radiant's
But
top tower is under attack.
it's getting a little out of hand, especially with this Aegis. It means that
fortified.
Ori, Poyoyo, they're happy to just push this lane down a little bit. Maybe
Blink
wanting the
reveal,
Lich to join them.
XXS. Jump in, Borax, they need the extra burst. They've even got to drop the Serpent Wards for this,
Right.
and that's enough damage. The banishment a little bit too late from PYW to keep the dual target alive, but Ori still has got the Aegis advantage. So they'll lose the first life. Can they turn back around Aster for the second life? Monate's still swinging on over as well. Maybe the Phantom Assassin can look to get involved, but Old 11, a jump on forward. The epicenter solely dropped on Lenham, so they'll target down the Lich, but meanwhile, the Lean is getting prioritized from the side of Aster. An incredible fight for them, as Monate will clean up the backline. They'll end up losing DY, maybe Old 11 as well. Oh, they found PYW, who'll attempt for a TP up. Any crits? No. Not lucky enough for Monet.
Game's never over with a PA on your lineup. Good time to make that initiation. You know, you're feeling a little bit confident. Lich was still 3 seconds away from respawning, and they just went. You know, they felt that they had that positioning where you were in quite a poor position. Good chain frost as well by Lanham, making sure that he's able to clean up the Lena on the back end. So I don't think he right-clicked once, though. So the Falcon Blade, that 12 damage, probably didn't do too much of anything. If you want to build the fluffy hat into something, just go a freaking force stuff, you know? Feels like it's much more versatile. Especially against a Razor, you know? You want that extra space.
Yeah, I'm intrigued. He's trying stuff. You know, we got to expect from a lot of these TI teams to be trying some new things, but I'm on the same board. I'd say damage on Lich, how much is that really going to come into play? See there, Aster. A solid fight to kind of bring them back into distance of evening this game out. Borak's got to be so careful. Puyo just randomly plasma fields. Jump on forward. Being able to catch out the puck. But the phase shift is there from White Album thanks to the hard dispel.
Good positioning by XXS there, who's nearly built into his Aghanim shard as well, so going to give them a little bit of that, BKB usage as well. Will enable them to get out of, for example, the kinetic field, which is going to be quite useful for these next few team fights that are to come.
Dire's top tower is
With
under
that
attack.
team fight victory, you can see Monet here. He's been able to finish up that BKB. I think he might have a Blightstone coming out to himself as well, so a little bit more damage potential in this next fight. Good positioning by Old 11 though.
Borax. Not going to find the angle to jump. They even brought Monet over to that fight. Who BKB completed. Still looking for the Desolator.
Radiant's bottom
Looks like we'll have a
tower is
refresh on
under
the map
attack.
though. Lena's going to try and attempt to shot out the bottom wave here. Almost closing onto the level 18 as well for Ori. Die though, they're just double smoke.
I don't think so. They used one previously in the mid lane just to go to that one, so I doubt
Oh,
they
it was
would
probably
have had
expiring
enough.
then.
Yeah.
So they've got the higher ground XXS, just glimpses DY's positioning, but Borax is in with the jump. He doesn't get the follow-up stun lock, and instantly Old 11 with the retaliation shuts down the Shadow Shaman. Puyo will cut down the Lich as well. So not the start that Aster are looking for. Now DY got the vision. 1-8 forced to BKB instantly into the TPR. That is not the fight you're looking for Aster.
A little surprising that he didn't drop the Mass Serpent wards either straight after
Old
the Hex,
11.
just so that... Oh,
He's going to use his stun early. Legion might just TP out now. He doesn't see the rest of the team's position. He's going to go for the tree line. He's glimpsed. Oh, just in time. XXS dragged back to his demise as Vici Gaming. Add another kill to the tally.
Can't escape the underscape.
well, he's ended up going for the Aghanim shard on the Disruptor. Some good positioning again by DY to make sure that he was able to get that glimpse off. And, you know, he's using the fluffy hats for what they were meant for, enabling supports to not instantly get blown up. One for him and one for his Raptor.
You got to give over the hat to the Raptor. What mount has he
Dire's
got?
top
Good
tower
mount.
is under attack.
It's not too bad.
Dire's structures are
The
fortified.
Disruptor.
What is it called? No.
It is now.
That is not okay. Ori, has he got something coming out of the corridor? What is his net
Dire's
worth?
top tower has fallen.
That Thunderstrike with the Razor is just going to be amazing though, right?
Yeah.
You just toss it onto him, he's got the extra movement speed, you get the extra attack speed as well, which, you know, when you're linked together, someone's just going to get machine gunned down, which is amazing. And wisely enough, he's realizing the threat that a lot of this right-click is going to start to have on Team Aster's side. So going into the Shiva's guard, very nice item.
Yeah, I really do like this Aghanim shot on the Disruptor. I mean, 50% movement speed buff is nuts for Lena and Disrupt and Razor. And even we saw before, it enabled the Shadow Demon to close the distance on XXS. He was moving at 532 for every 1.5 second, or 1.25. So the plus attack speed too, like you've got heroes that are really going to utilize that. I really feel like we could start to see the Disruptor have a lot more value in some teams' drafts.
Yeah. For me, the biggest change was the Thunderstrike. I honestly have yet to see, like, because the duration used to be so short on the, you know, the slow, only 0.1 seconds, I've yet to see if the, like, the AoE that it does affects everyone for that amount of time. You know, I know it damages them,
Radiant are
but
scattered.
does it affect everyone for 0.4 seconds? Because if so, even just the radius increase from the Thunderstrike is going to be massively useful. 650 radius is enormous.
Yeah.
Look at it. Look, like around D1. Look how huge that is. In a team fight, good luck not getting caught within that and slowed.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. I mean, it's up to 880 now, which is just stupid. Like Old 11 as well. I mean, his Sandstorm radius too is ridiculous with the buffs that the Sand King got. I feel like we're going to start to see him a little bit more as well. Like that 10 and 15 talent is awesome. And then when you get the 25 talent for the 40% Sandstorm Slow and Blind, Like, that's crazy as well. By that stage, BKBs are really low.
So, I feel like there's a team fight about to happen, so I'll hold my
Thought.
my knowledge for a second. All right, they're backing off.
Never mind, they're smoking up.
Dire are
Oh,
No
God damn it.
opportunity. See how they can start this. XXS is in a great position to pop the smoke with his positioning around the observer ward.
Oh,
Monet, he's aware. Oh, the spidey senses. Deso completed. Yeah, oh, Monet? Like, he's aware, He just jumps back in. Vici Gaming looking to go back to the outpost control. The Blade Belt, they're going to be careful with the DD, but an instant banishment again. So keeps them alive through the duel. And now Ori can just turn and rip down XXS. Now they can target the rest of the supports in the backline as well. Poyo forces a TP out. Will also kill off Lenim too. So again, Vici Gaming standing strong in these fights.
DY again with the excellent positioning coming out and just straight up dropping that Static Storm so that he didn't have the follow-up from the Lich to be able to get off any spells. I mean, he was just stuck inside that Static Storm for the entire time. No Frost Shield, no Frost Blast, no Sinister Gaze, and only able to get the Chain Frost at the end when it was basically a foregone conclusion that Vici were going to win that team fight. Alright, so I didn't... Because that team fight went so heavily in favor of Vici, we didn't get to see it. But there was a bug, even as more recently as yesterday, I believe, with the level 15 talent on Sand King, where the Sandstorm radius actually, like... Am I getting this right? Actually, like, increased attack speed or something like that of people in it.
What? Oh, there's been some wild bugs. I mean, the Meepo one, from what I've been hearing, is kind of nutty. I don't know if they've patched that yet or not, but I know that was kind of the talk of the town on day one.
Oh, okay, this was it. So, if you have the 150 Sandstorm radius talent and you use Epicenter, instead of slowing their attack speed by 30, it increases the enemy's attack speed by 120.
Oh, classic.
Like, I can see how you get to 120 because, 150 minus 30, but sorry, going for a dive.
They drop the coil in a really rough spot here. Phase shift is able to dodge the glimpse back. They actually sent XXS back, I believe.
They did.
And now up
And
with
he
the
just
DD.
TP'd, so he has to run the entire way.
And Ori's just sieging with the Thunderstrike buff up. He's got DD, Aegis, Fury, Soul. They know the route as well for XXS to connect with Aster through the top lane, and they pounce as soon as he gets close to the tower. They're up on the high ground though. Poyo soaking 1-8 dry. He needs to kite this fight out, and he will be able to do so with the buyback through from XXS. They're going to look for a reset still. The lack of control showing as White Album. Pesky puck on the backline, but it looks like Vici Gaming, they're happy with what they've got so far. A buyback forced out from XXS.
Absolutely. And yeah, for me, it's the supports on Vici that are the MVPs this game. Even just then, PYW, as soon as the Chain Frost left Lich's hands, made sure to use the Disruption onto the Lina, not only saving his life, but also making sure that the Lich ultimate was completely cancelled. So that just completely turned the fight in Vici's favor, forced out the buyback, and yeah, the rich get richer, 12k net worth, but there has been fights before where, PA's been able to come back into it, only a little bit of gold away from that Basher as well as the level 20. So, I mean, I talk about the importance of these supports. If they're able to get in onto them on the backlines and just straight up blow them up, still got a chance on Aster.
They do indeed.
See, they're protecting their high ground a little bit. You've got the courier coming out here, but who's going to get vision of who?
Smoke up. They're all grouped up. White Album instantly jumping the backline supports with a coil. It's going to cut them away from the cores to enable them through the fights. But with the Circle Watch drop, Old 11 has done an incredible job to lock in Borax. But they've linked up the Phantom Assassin. So with Monet, he's unable to get in and dish out that quick burst damage that we see so often on the PA.
Yeah. Puck did his job. He went in deep. I believe DY has a Ghost Scepter as well, right? So he's... And so does the Shadow Demon, PYW. So the supports, again, their itemization, their positioning, their spell casting, everything is on point.
Yeah, I mean, like you were saying, Puck did exactly his job. You're preventing the Static Storm, preventing the banishment from either saving someone through Jewel or saving someone through the onslaught of the Phantom Assassin. Monet? Okay. They're just gonna go up high ground. Who have they caught out? White Album. Blink on cooldown for Old 11, so he can't continue. And they're up slowing down the siege. I mean, Ori's gonna try and finally take care of the tower.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
Yeah, that's the downside of using the Dream Coil to try and pick off the supports, right? If you use Dream Coil for that, then, you know, the cores are free to just run at you. There's nothing to stop them.
Dire's middle barracks has fallen.
Melee racks down now. Aegis still another 50 seconds here for Ori. He's closing in on the MKB as well, who's already got the Silver's Edge to kind of deal with the Phantom Assassin. Even an MKB just in case you don't have that one. They do see Old 11 on the high ground forward position, so they will not try and bear the difficult task of going up there. Another
Plus
DD.
getting a little bit of the crit for the Silver Edge now as well. Passive.
Very true.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
There's some real janky interactions with how crit works now as well. Like, I don't think it's worth it to buy more than one crit item, and for someone like a Wraith King or a Chaos Knight who has crit as an inbuilt part of their kit, it's not worth it to get any crit items for mine, because they can you crit but you don't lifesteal, for example, on the Chaos Knight, which sucks, and it basically makes some things half as likely to proc. It's weird. It's so hard to explain, but the short way to go about it is, if you have something that already does crit, don't buy more crit. Not worth it.
Do you feel like we're going to see a lot more Silver's Edge because of that buff up? I mean, I'm pretty sure, yeah, it got reduced by 250 gold, and having this crit coming out of Invis and also just a passive feels really nice.
I think it's a very nice item. You know, there are still very few ways to break in the game. I think only one was added, which was Shadow Shaman level 20 talent, with Hex now breaking.
Yep.
But, you know, the list is still pretty short.
They're trying to give what little space they can to Monet. He's shoving out top with the help of the blur. But do you really feel like this Abyssal Blade will turn the status quo of the game here from Aster?
Well, he just needs to go on to the Shadow Demon, right? Like, either you need to blink him, you need to Abyssal straight away so that there's no save, and, you know, BKB as well so that you're not getting glimpsed away, or so the Static Storm actually enables you to get some decent right clicks off. So I think it is pretty damn important. If he goes on the Disruptor, Shadow Demon, he's been in position every single time to be able to save, so I don't think it's going to be that big of an issue.
Yeah, maybe some of these new tier 4 neutral items could come into play as well. We're about 3 minutes away from that one, so that's going to be exciting.
Yeah, what have we got? I mean, we talk about them already. The Blast Rig on DY, fantastic against a PA. Forces you to pop that BKB before you go in.
Coming outside the base here, though. Aster, seeing who they can catch out. Scurried away from the team. Sold 11 and DY, though. They've got enough defensive items to tank through some of the damage and look to reset.
Again, PYW's positioning is amazing. Now he's kind of a bit more on the front lines because he wants to, you know, get these wards up. You can just see he's constantly playing around trees.
They might run into the Lina here. They've got the detection. There's the dual range coming into play as well. They'll catch the Lina, but again, the positioning for the Shadow Demon protects out Ori thanks to the banishment, but still locked in the Serpent Woods. Ori's going to be able to get back to safety. Maybe the damage from White Album's enough. He's trying to hunt, but the lack of control. Oh my god, again. PYW on another level this game from the Shadow Demon.
Yeah. His positioning is just phenomenal, and you know they were able to get up a sentry ward at the start.
Are they
gonna
run into White
right?
Album? DY? It's not Static Storm. He makes it down to the low ground, but that's into Ori. It started with trying to burst down the Lina, and it ended with Lina piercing through the Puck's health pool.
I have to say as well, I'm not a big fan of White Album's item choices. Like the Witchblade, we talked about how it could still be viable, but going a Desolator when you've already got a PA on your team with a Desolator kind of feels heavily counterintuitive. I would feel much more confident with, you know, him building towards something like, not that he's exactly rich, but, you know, a Yule Scepter or towards a Sheepstick or something along those lines.
Oh, this is gonna get to the stage. Yeah, all or nothing. Rapier. seems like the only hope here from Aster, but you somehow
Radiant's
need
bottom
to
tower is
gather
under
information from the Shadow Demon. Like, PYW is doing so much this game. Aghanim's going to be the next item as well, so they'll have a secondary way to break the PA and just kite her through the fights.
Just extra damage. Hell, you could even put it onto the Razor, right? Where he's just following people if you get that Aghanim shard eventually. One for him. Get rid of the PA.
One in the
game.
bank just in case you need it.
Mm-hmm.
Another DD! I swear they've had at least 5.
Not enough.
Not enough, they say. Not enough
Oof.
at all.
And
By
that's
Roche
telescope
too?
as well. As if they didn't already have enough ways to position themselves really effectively in team fights. Sends back the blast rig though. So, you know, maybe PYW will be the one to pick that up. I think that'd be a very smart choice if he did, once he finishes up his Ag Scepter. And they have been lacking a little bit in tower taking potential. Of course, not the strongest tower right-clicking lineup just yet, but that level is definitely going to help. So
Aster are going to smoke
just-
up. 1-8 leading the charge, potentially running into old 11 here, but the Lincoln's pop sets up for the blink away. 1-8 still looking for his target, but I mean, relying on a PA to get this jump right now is looking difficult. They'll drop the call, but again, they haven't found PYW, but they know the banishment's on cooldown, but they'll jump in! Razor just shreds apart the dual target. Lena still shackled, controlling. There's no banishment, maybe enabling Aster to turn this fight, but Poyoyo has got too much damage in the tank. 79 stolen, it doesn't matter. Gets himself
Everyone.
a triple. 4 buybacks forced out as well from Aster. And now this net worth lead has grown to 25,000.
You sounded like a Looney Tunes character then. Some net worth.
Net worth.
But I mean, someone had to have been scouting out the Lena, right? They knew that some recent items have been picked up. Her buyback wasn't on cooldown. It only
Old
just
11.
has gone over
It's going to
that
try and
square
make the
plus.
play. 1-8's in trouble. They need the save. They'll get it through. The purge here from XXS, and they stole the cheese though, but at least the Aegis is picked up from 1-8. But the only issue is Aura can rip through the first life. They stole the Aghanim Scepter as well on the ground too. 1-8, can he find a way to jump away? In fact, he's going to go straight on top of the Lena, but with nothing left in the tank, they have to call it quits with the buybacks on cooldown.
Yeah, I mean, for all of the amazing cohesion that we saw from Aster in game number 1, it just wasn't quite there that time around. You know, the issue was pretty much the same as what we saw last time, right? Unless you can go on that Shadow Demon, a fight can very quickly turn around in the enemy team's favor. And, you know, a couple of times, well, more than a couple of times, I would have said at least 4 vital team fights just could not happen for Aster because that Shadow Demon was alive. So fantastic positioning from PYW. DY was great with his quick fingers as well, casting that Static Storm, just completely cutting off avenues of attack from Team Aster. And the itemization wasn't amazing either. I hate that Falcon Blade build on the Lich, and Dual Desolator is not it for me. That's just a bunch of wasted gold.
Consistent saves that we saw from PYW was incredible. I mean, the fact that he was always getting the banishments, it was a sight to see. I mean, it's been one of his strongest heroes for a long time now, and we're really seeing why. And now we get a game 3. I mean, Team Aster looked incredibly strong in game 1. Vici Gaming, they answered and they were a hit back to force a game 3. And now we're in store for a beautiful close to our first series of the night. We'll send it to a break with game 3 around the corner.